Downs Gaming and Hotel. We work extremely hard to make your experience here convenient, safe, and fun.
I love Batavia Downs Gaming.
We love it!
I love Batavia Downs Gaming.
We don't just like Batavia Downs Gaming, we love Batavia Downs Gaming.
Batavia Downs Gaming, Hotel, and Racetrack. We not only want you to like coming here, we want you to love coming here.
Folks, welcome back to the show where it is not wrestling with your budget. It is not wrestling with your conscience. It is wrestling with emotion. And we are springing into step. The days are getting longer, and so are the feuds across the wrestling universe. There's no feud between you and the place where you can win lots more, though. Batavia Downs. That events calendar is filling up. Make sure you check out at Batavia Downs for some entertainment for yourself and the region's premier entertainment destination, or just a place where you can go have some drinks, gamble a little bit responsibly, and win lots more. Hope to see you there at Batavia Downs. But seeing here on the show, we got Slick Saturday and we got the head of the table, Michael J. Partham. Gents, WWE is on their European tour. I'd say this is phase 2 of 3 maybe of the road to WrestleMania. We got John Cena back in the picture, and we got AEW, scrambling it up tonight. But first, obviously, let's talk WWE in Europe. Parthy, I know you're always cognizant of that crowd. How'd you feel about Brussells on Monday? And also that Raw at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, it was like one of those PLEs that we get at like 1 p.m. because it's overseas and we're not waiting till 8 p.m. at night to watch it. We can get it out of the way early and, I don't know, go to bed early, I guess. The crowd was hot. Obviously, anytime you go to Europe, it's a lot of soccer passionate crowds. They have songs, they have chants for days. They're coordinated. They wanted to make themselves part of the show, and that just helps dial up the energy to 11, so to speak. We were talking before about, why wasn't John Cena's first epic heel promo in Madison Square Garden last week instead of overseas? Well, it could have been a lively crowd. It usually is a lively crowd at the Garden, but this crowd, especially in Brussels, they just they did exactly. They knew the assignment. They knew their role. That when Cena comes out, just shower him with boos, just shower him with chants, just heckle him, just say the most awful things to him. Which, of course, Cena turned basically into the crux of his promo. But Slick, what was your impression?
I loved it. Yeah, I feel a similar way. These international European crowds, they always put on. They understand the assignment, as you said, directly relates to their culture and their passion for sports as well. I thought I was watching live with Maniac, and that boo pop, it was like a mix between a cheer and a boo pop, but I'd never heard anything like it in my life. And
when the music first hits, there's an initial little cheer, and then the boos come in.
Right. It was something, man. And the body language John Cena was using, and then the rest of the show as well. Jey Uso, and then Gunther being around his hometown, Ludwig as well. Those European guys getting respect. They made Penta look like the biggest star on earth as well. A lot of points hitting on that show, and the crowd rewarded them as a result.
Yeah, you guys are right. Definitely an interesting production in Brussels. Penta continues to get pushed like a megastar, even though he's kind of in mid-card feud right now with Ludwig Kaiser. Great performance. And yeah, I think,
Wait, do you think Penta is going to be able to beat Okada for the Continental title? Because that's the title he said he's going after right now.
Listen, I can't blame Penta. There's only one thing he knows how to say for sure right now, and that is Zera Miedo, obviously. But, it was interesting to me, John Cena surfing the crowd. Someone said it perfectly in our chat. It was almost like he was kind of in neutral. They weren't going to let John Cena fully tear into him. And where they seem to be going with it is the real John Cena. That's who Cody Rhodes said he wanted to see. I didn't notice like a huge difference between how John Cena was acting. Like, he was just saying a different perspective. He didn't act any different to me. He didn't portray himself any different. The walking to the ring was great. We saw a lot of, guesses about how the heel John Cena would be different. I completely slept on the walking to the ring as an option. I thought that was awesome. But yeah, overall, I mean, if this is the first of like a 10-piece of promotion, I thought it was a good start in Brussels for sure. With that said, WWE in Europe. Oh, sorry. So go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say to add on to it, if you guys wanted to say how you felt about Cody coming out too, and then kind of like that's the end of John's thing, even though they're both still out there.
Yeah, it all fades just into that point to me, Parthy, is that this was Cody Rhodes' chance to get like a little knock on him, and probably the next time we see John Cena on the mic, I would expect flame emojis left and right.
Well, sure. I mean, there's ways to go after Cody. Yeah, we saw that when Cody first got here a couple years ago back here, and Seth, roasted him over, going to start another company, and how did that work out for you? But, and I said this in the chat, so I'll say it here on the stream. This was a good John Cena heel promo for 2012 because that's when he was meant to go heel. That's when they had this all planned out, and he had new music, and he had a new look, and he was in the middle of "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks." He was in the middle of a divided crowd that was hostile toward him for the previous 7 or 8 years, ever since he, I guess, won the WWE title. I think it was in 2004 or 5 or something like that at WrestleMania. It seemed, it's a lot of people have said this, and I agree with it. It sounded like babyface John Cena doing a parody of what a heel John Cena promo would be. It's like that emoji where he's twisting his, foot, parodying, maybe I should do a little heel turn. And if he indulged the crowd, like, hey, what would a heel John Cena promo sound like? You people, you never appreciated me. You were mean to me, and you said all these bad things about me. And it's the You People promo. He basically did the John Cena version of the You People promo. And it's like he would do that. And it's like, how's that? Does that sound like a good heel for you? Okay, there's your heel turn.
The thing, though, is that's the exact opposite of like what Cena's always been. So it just makes no sense that like he's like,
right. And
now I'm gonna be like, oh, you guys are being mean to me. Like he's always been like rise above hate. You know what I mean? Like that's literally on his hat. I have not here. I have a hat that says that. And it's a Cena hat, but
and the thing is, he hasn't had to rise above hate for quite a while. Ever since he went part-time, ever since he walked away from the main event scene, and it's like that old cliche: "How can we miss you if you won't go away?" Well, he went away, not unlike The Rock, but he came back at least every once in a while. He's had a match every year, every calendar year, ever since he started doing movies, at least. So it's not like The Rock where he went completely away for 7 years. So it's not like the fans forgot about him, but the fans appreciated him more because he wasn't just Super Cena winning all the time and in every main event of WrestleMania. And now they had a chance to let all these other superstars breathe, and he was basically just a special attraction. And you didn't hear any John Cena sucks. You didn't hear that refrain in his music when he would come out, like when he came back at Money in the Bank to challenge Roman Reigns for a second time in the middle of his Tribal Chief run. Everybody was cheering. Everybody was with Cena. There was no.
You got a little sucks there.
Refrain.
For the record, again, was it anything compared with the cheer and the pop? The pop at Money in the Bank 2003 or 2023 was that?
2021.
I'm sorry. Yeah, time flies. 2021. Yeah, it was biblical for sure. Yeah. So again, you guys hit the nail on the head. I don't think we're going to talk about it anymore. I think Cena has a lot to show. It was clearly in neutral in this promo. I think that when either next week or when we finally get the Break-A-Wish full faction in the ring, we'll see
there's a lot. There's still a lot of details to go over, like why he's aligning with The Rock, why he feels like he has to do this to go after 17, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh God, here we go.
And we move on to Jey Uso, and
so
I didn't really notice this botch at first because it looked like he got a piece of him, but yeah, it does very much look like the top dollar flop.
I think the biggest thing with the top dollar flop, I think the biggest thing with the top dollar flop is, like you said, Partham, Jey Uso gets like a decent piece of him with the legs at least. Top Dollar like hit nothing, and the guys had to like fall after Top Dollar was already on the ground. And and then it didn't help that Michael Cole was like, "Well, I don't think he'll be trying that anytime soon again." Like,
and Cole, of course, roasted him every week after that.
This Jey Uso one, Michael Cole was probably going, "Yeet!"
That's very true. Michael Cole might be a hypocrite. If I was the New Day, I would definitely call him out. How you reacted against Top Dollar versus Jey Uso, but. Is this a big deal? As big a deal as the internet's making it out to be? Short and sweet. What do you guys think?
I'll go first.
Top Dollar wasn't over. Jey Uso is, so he'll get over it.
Yeah, he'll get over it. I don't think it's a big deal because we've seen Jey basically on a weekly basis for the past year. and that is not a reoccurring theme. So not a big deal. It happens to the best of the best in the ring. What are you going to do? Move on. It was a Europe show. Like, whatever.
What do you guys think about Jey Uso and Gunther's program? It looks like Jey Uso has been wrestling, A-Town Down Under and other people as a TV program, and then Gunther just comes out at the end every week. And it seems like Gunther's usually getting the better end of it, I guess, but it seems a little repetitive, at least to me. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's just them stalling with the fact that they're in Europe for this very significant part of the road to WrestleMania. They're taking advantage of the fact that Jay is in a title feud with a guy from Europe, and they're kind of just holding off, not wanting to put them in an action situation yet. And the fact that Gunther is getting the better hand of these interactions when they happen just leads me more and more to believe that Jey Uso is going to win this title at Mania.
Yeah. I mean, typically you get I feel like a 6 to 7 week build to Mania. Elimination Chamber is going to end up being like 8.5 to 9 weeks before WrestleMania. And when you factor in that, like Jey Uso and Gunther was kind of known before that, this has been going for a minute. So it'll be very interesting how they can kind of ramp it up, seeing as they're just about at the halfway point, approaching it. But yeah, you're right, Parthy. They're kind of maybe a little bit in the wash here with it. Need some underdog mentality for Jey Uso because he is so over. You need to build him up as an underdog, honestly, because the crowd is completely behind him, and that's a little too obvious in my opinion. With that said, anything else on WWE you want to touch on?
The Rhea contract signing, a la back in the day where Shawn Michaels signed a contract that was meant for Triple H and name redacted.
Yeah.
I mean,
they did it a little differently, right? The Rhea one was a little bit more awkward with the signing. Shawn jumped in and signed it before anyone else did, whereas this time Rhea just kind of added her name to the contract.
Well, I like the fact that Adam Pearce basically, acknowledged the logic gap. Like that's not how this works. You can't do that.
Yeah. Oh, well, listen, I mean, wrestling logic. I watched, an all-time clip the other day where, Stone Cold, pins Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. It's just Mike Tyson coming in for like the quickest 3 count that ever existed.
Yes, one of the fastest 3 counts of ever
like Stone Cold, honestly, when you watch the clip, was clearly so pissed that Mike Tyson did a quick count, and completely ruined it. He literally walks right to the corner. But that just falls into the idea that anything could happen when they decide, whether it's Paul Heyman making the 3 count, whether it's a random superstar making the 3 count. I put that under the same jurisdiction as a contract signing being open for anybody when it's open, I guess.
But are they making Rhea look a little too, like Adam Pearce said, childish, a little too petty? Like this is how you get? Is this how anybody can get themselves in the match? Just show up for a contract signing and sign your name, because that's eventually what this is going to lead to.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've had a point, Partham, that she's been harping on this Bianca being out there thing. She doesn't really have much of another excuse. But when I watched it back, you are right, Rhea distracted herself. But Rhea, being the mad that she is, I still saw that one moment that Bianca was cheering on Io a little bit as opposed to Rhea, and that would make Rhea mad. So I could see that little bit, but I do agree it's a stupid thing to harp on. She does need a little more of a baseline than just jealousy to get back into this title match. But hey, she signed the contract that her name was never on in the first place. So now we have ourselves a triple threat, it looks like, at Mania. I'm here for it, honestly.
Seems like we're going towards a lot of triple threats and fatal 4-ways. None of them are official yet, but especially for the undercard titles on both shows.
Yeah, it does.
Don't forget, we are coming up on the 10-year anniversary of the greatest WWE contract signing between Finn Balor and Samoa Joe in NXT, when Samoa Joe literally just walked out, signed the contract, and walked directly to the back and didn't do anything else. And Finn Balor got super pissed. It was really fun. It was absolute cinema.
It's classic Joe.
Real quick, talking WWE, this one just came across the desk. Lex Luger informed WWE that Sting was his top choice to induct him into the Hall of Fame, and WWE are making efforts to bring Sting into the ceremony. Sting remains under an AEW Legends deal, but it's unclear it's unclear. Comments seem to be nobody could believe that they would hold him back from doing it. this is just a thing to me where if the foot was on the other shoe, I don't know if WWE would do what's right here with Sting or with any character or any personality or any contract that they own. But yeah, I do have faith that Tony Khan, I mean, having an AEW star inducting someone into the WWE Hall of Fame is a great move.
Well, I mean, it's Sting, and he has ultimate respect for Sting, and you saw that in how he booked him, basically undefeated, and went out a champion and a winner, even though my understanding is Sting was willing to put over the Bucks in that final tag match, but Tony Khan insisted, no, Sting, no, you're going over, you're going out a winner. So for Tony Khan to say no to Sting, to a legend like that, someone who has that amount of respect, I don't know that you can get away with that. You could probably get away with some mid-carder on Dynamite who wants to make an appearance at the WWE Hall of Fame because he gets to induct his favorite wrestler of all time. Let's like, no, put the kibosh on that. But it's Sting. He's not even really officially with your company. He's on a Legends contract, so it's kind of a vague, association, so to speak. He'll show up every once in a while when Darby needs him, and that might ultimately happen at All in Texas if where we feel they're going is where they're going. But how does Tony Khan say no to Sting if Sting wants to do this?
Yeah, it's completely different when you ask for Billy Gunn to show up for
Yeah.
DX 30-year anniversary. And I believe Tony Khan said he told them that he would let that happen if they just mentioned AEW's name on commentary, which they did not agree to.
Well, he did let him
But
show up to the Hall of Fame.
It's not even something that Tony Khan would have to even negotiate for this. Obviously, he's going to let Sting do this if Sting wants to do it.
And WWE did acknowledge Sting's retirement. Would they allow this one comment? Would they acknowledge Sting as an AEW talent?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, and we got to say, I think that's fairly ironic.
Again, like you have to mention AEW.
Well, I think that's. I mean, again, and I'm not. I'm not one of those people who, if he's gonna go, WWE has to mention AEW. I'm not saying that, but it is very interesting that, like, thank goodness for AEW for like Sting's like twilight of his career, because that WWE run was kind of a joke. They gave him some opportunities. I'm not acting like they didn't put him in the heavyweight picture. Like, of course, they found a way to do it. But, I mean, that run was a little bit silly. I
think it's perfectly reasonable to ask to mention anyone as an AEW talent if you're just loaning them for one night in WWE. But if it's Sting, like, obviously exceptions will be made.
Maybe because it's not. Is it following SmackDown still? Because they're doing it in a different place other than right after SmackDown.
Yeah, it's a separate event, I believe.
Yeah, and the Hall of Fame ceremony, it's not like, obviously a lot of people are watching, but like it's not entirely the crowd that would be watching SmackDown. And
all I'm saying is it would just be crazy disingenuous for them to like prop up Sting's WWE run in like any form here and not mention AEW. That's what I would say. Again, I'm not saying they have to, but it would just be super weird. And it's like Triple H doesn't treat the viewers like stupid. Like, and I hate to say it, but speaking of redacted, name redacted, if we're still redacting him, that was something they would do quite often with the audience. It's something they would do quite often with our demographic of the audience as well. So interesting to see, and we will see, but that's definitely a storyline going into the Hall of Fame ceremony. Speaking of storylines, do we want to go to your Meltzer driver or AEW first, Parthy?
Let's go to AEW first.
Okay. So we got Dynamite tonight, obviously. AEW looks to keep its momentum going. Again, is AEW as hot as 2021? I think we all can agree. No, of course not. But is AEW trending in the right direction? I think we would say yes and agree for the most part. Depends, obviously, big time what happens here with Cope and Mox in a run back that a lot of people are like WTF to. And there is a lot of the AEW haters, and they may have a point, which is the worst thing when the haters have a point. But Cope being a little bit of a Hogan, Parthy?
Well, I think that's part of the reason why this match was made is because he heard all those, Adam Hogan comments, and he's like, I'll show you who can put somebody over, brother. And also, there was a lot of things that they probably wanted to do at the end of that match, other than Christian cashing in. Like, there was a lot of speculation that Jay White was acting very sus. We were talking about it on this show, and that didn't come to fruition. He was just chased off by freaking Wheeler Yuta. What was that? And the way that match just ended with a dud.
Didn't he accidentally clock Cope though?
Oh yeah, he did.
He did. So they didn't completely write him up, but you're right. They didn't do anything with the storyline that he said I would protect him no matter what. Like, I'm all in for Cope. I want to make sure it's done. Didn't really follow through on that. Didn't see much of that last week. Maybe that's something that'll boil over tonight.
Yeah, I expect the Death Riders to make their presence known, unlike on the pay-per-view.
I agree as well. It's like, do you think Cope has any chance tonight?
I do. Actually, I'm not sure how really this is going to happen, whether Jay White's going to somehow play into this again and there's going to be more backup on Cope's side. But I do think he has a chance. I think Tony Khan's probably, if he wasn't hearing his reactions to the Death Riders before Revolution, he should damn sure as hell be listening after that main event reaction, because that was a great show that we were just happened to have the wrong match in the main event of. Very disappointing ending. Not overbooked, just plain stupid.
Yeah, fell flat.
If he does the only thing that makes me think Cope has a chance is obviously how Cope is treated in AEW, and the fact that Tony Khan might listen to the reaction of that main event and want to switch things up all of a sudden. Partham thinks that's silly, but he thinks a lot of things about it.
Yeah. Okay, so Slick, you honestly think that they're running this match back possibly because they're going to give Copeland the win? Hey, my man Carlito, can you? What do you think about Slick's thoughts here?
You don't watch the show, do you?
Yeah, this is AEW. Mox is going to ride this title all the way to All In. They're just going to dig their heels in even more. This is really a redux to redo the end of the match, not so much.
All right, let's talk about your dirt sheets, buddy.
Okay.
No, we're not on the dirt sheets yet. We're talking AWSL. Did you guys see this get announced a couple hours back for Saturday?
Yes, the Slam Dunk Saturday.
This could main event of SummerSlam.
For those listening on the audio side, Daniel Garcia versus Adam Cole for the TNT Championship immediately following the NCAA tournament for the team. Yeah. So this match first was basically a wash when they first had it, I think, on Collision. What was it, a week or two ago?
Yeah.
So now they're running it back again. Hopefully no more shenanigans and double disqualification, throw the match out. Is it possible that Adam Cole would win the title on a Collision late night after basketball? Are they counting on the NCAA tournament to be a good lead-in, like that one time where they had the NBA as a lead-in when after Swerve won the title? That was almost a year ago, actually.
No, I don't think they would do that. No.
Yeah, AEW just does it to themselves sometimes. You got Statlander and Bane running it back tonight. Like, again, that was just a match that got interference for like nothing. I didn't feel like the interference really benefited the storyline at all. But we'll see. You know, sometimes it's like you said, Parthy. They just like to dig their heels in and like to make things happen on their own terms. With that said, anything else about tonight's Dynamite before we get into your Meltzer driver?
What else is on tonight's Dynamite?
Well, we got it looks like Ospreay might get tagged in.
He's taking on Air Fox. He made it to the arena.
Fox, and then I think Ricochet is teaming with someone in a tag match. I want to hear. I know. I want to hear from MJF. I want to see the Hurt Syndicate again. I think they've been picking up the side of things. I think MJF would be him paired with the Hurt Syndicate would be something if they could make that work. So I know him and Hangman still got things going. We'll see what happens with the fact that there's these matches and we're having to ask what else is on Dynamite. Makes me think we could be in for some things we might not expect. So
I think he's gonna swerve on the Hurt Syndicate. His whole thing after the Adam Cole thing was he would never trust anyone again. I think if he's gonna use them, he's gonna use them like real quick and then just turn his back on him. That might set up something against Lashley long term, I guess, if that's what they want to do. But I just can't see MJF really clocking in for the Hurt Syndicate or collabing on any social media posts, as you say. With that said, social media posts, big part of wrestling. Dirt sheets are out there more than ever. Parthy, you got something to say to Mr. Dave Meltzer?
All right. You know, anybody who follows, online wrestling and knows who Dave Meltzer is knows that he has not had the best track record in the last 2 or 3 years, or really for a long time. And this particular report on the Wrestling Observer Figure 4 Online, whatever the name is these days, Dave was talking about the WWE ID program. Quote, when it comes to the WWE ID talent, the deal according to a contract is that Gabe Sapolsky puts the matches together and gives the script to the promoter. The promoter pays the talent. It can push that the talent comes from WWE, and WWE covers the travel costs with the stipend, and the promoter pays the difference if the travel costs are larger than the stipend, whatever. That turned out to not be true. Gabe Sapolsky does not give a script to these independent promoters. They can book a WWE ID talent and promote the person as such, but Gabe Sapolsky doesn't, have anything to do with the match. Now, if it's just so happens to be 2 WWE ID talents wrestling each other on an independent promotion, which I don't know why they would have that booked and not have it booked for one of the, the NXT or the lower tier shows that they have nowadays. But I mean, how many times Dave just basically deleted the post from his newsletter and didn't say a darn word about it, and everybody's just rightfully roasting him. How it just amazes me how many times he's just basically caught with his pants down, and he's not siphoning subscribers who pay him $15 for this stuff for the last few years. I mean, remember guys when he got he reported a little bit early on, what was it? One of the Wild Samoans passed away, and he reported that like a day or two early before it happened. I mean, it's just amazing to me. And the best pastime of content creators, people on YouTube, people on wrestling Twitter, IWC, is basically just to roast him every other time that he just puts his foot in his mouth, which seems to be on a semi-weekly basis. So I don't know. There are much more legitimate, quote, dirt sheets out there. I would put Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful at the top. I would put PW Insider and the Twitter account WrestleVotes. They seem to have their sources in very straight. They seem to have the things, most of the things they report come to fruition. But Dave Meltzer has just been 0 for 1,000.
You just said it yourself, dude. Like, why does it matter? All 3 of those have in common is all of them are wrong sometimes. Partham, all of it's not all of the things.
I was gonna get there, Slick. I was
not
gonna get there.
all of the
Parthy,
things you have said.
Tell us, in your opinion, the accuracy frequency of the top dirt sheets. What is it? 70%.
Yeah.
Like I was asking, is that your number? Is that your number? Like, would you say?
Wait, are you asking Slick or asking me? I would say 80 or 90%. But back in 2021, who else had CM Punk going to AEW? Who broke that? That was Sean Ross Sapp. Whatever you think of him as a person on Twitter, he can break stuff before other people get to it.
He's also said shit that's completely been false, dude. Everyone does it. Why do you have this like fetish for Meltzer?
I don't have. Wait, I have a fetish for Meltzer in what way?
You have a reverse sadist fetish for Meltzer. You like to
because he's wrong and it's embarrassing. It's entertaining to see him embarrassed over and over again. Why the hell not?
Told us things are gonna happen from your sources, dirt sheets, whatever, and they have been wrong. Like we are all wrong. That's why this show is great.
I think Meltzer handles being maybe he does it more often, Parthy, but I think Meltzer handles being
he does
wrong
it all the time.
better than Sapp.
He uses informed
Meltzer will just laugh about it
and spins that as sourced reports.
Meltzer will just laugh about it, and then Sapp will like quote tweet like someone with like 12 followers and be like, "You're actually a fool."
Yeah, Sapp gets into it with the Twitter people a lot more than most.
Too much in his emotional bag.
I remember a time when our boy Tim Graham used to do that, and he's been off and on with that, and he's admitted, yeah, I gotta stop with that, and I think he's calmed down with that over the years.
Yeah, well, maybe you should get back to it. Get back to your roots, Tim. Can't hurt.
Tim's cool.
With that said, any final thoughts here on Wrestling with Emotion, Slick?
My final thought on that is I just don't pay dirt sheets too much mind. If they're right, that's sweet. If they're not, it's cool. Like that's why this show's awesome. We have a prediction panel, and yeah, that Partham is the head.
Yeah, we have a prediction panel. Who's at the top of that?
Buddy? Yeah, get to counting, watching
footage. We have not counted our tallies, our records since Dynasty of last year, guys. Where are the interns? Where are the interns getting on this stuff?
I think you offered to do that.
I can do that. I just need access to data here.
I do think Parthy said one time he was going to do it. I do think one time.
The data is in the archives. It's there.
We're gonna figure something out. We got to get the head of the table straightened out. But well, we get straightened out. Thank you for tuning in and following along on Wrestling with Emotion, sponsored by Batavia Downs, the region's premier entertainment destination. A lot of entertainment coming up. Any final thoughts, boys?
It's Wednesday, and you know what that means.
Yeah,
you know
a lot of people
means.
might be showing up late to Dynamite tonight. Big snowstorm in the Midwest.
Oh,
This
where is it at?
the storyline. Let's see how
Omaha.
Tony Khan can do on a shuffle with the
Omaha.
roster. Let's see how he can do, because we know WWE often steps up in these situations. With that said, thank you for stepping up with us. Shout out our head of the table, Mike Partham, Slick Saturday, myself as well. Shout out the sponsor, Batavia Downs. This is not the show where it's wrestling with your conscience. This is not the show where it's wrestling with your budget. This is wrestling with emotion.
Making Triple H real creative.